Hey there folks, Wrel here. Welcome back to another development update for Distal, a high fantasy, class-heavy, D20-based tabletop role-playing system currently in alpha development. That's not the first time I've struggled with that. So if you go to playthisrpg.com or distalrpg.com, you'll be able to see the new updated webpage. It's based on Shopify, so you can go through and pull out products and add them to your cart, but they're free still. One of the other things that we do is try to tell you a little bit more about the game and why you should care. Distal is meant to be familiar yet distinct from Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, that sort of thing. So we have a little blurb here that talks about some of the more contrasting elements, and then we go into the about the system, which talks about some of the main focuses and then details some of the systems. And this is all stuff that you haven't seen before. I've kind of just helped elaborate on some of the systems that exist within the current game. Here's an explanation of a little bit more elaboration on some of the bullet points that you see within the document. And then there's some bonus design philosophy stuff here. I think a main focus of Distal is really just to provide a GM with tools to make a streamlined, fun, very story-rich environment without having to, I still want it to be tactical. I really love combat and all the abilities that go along with it and just the decision-making process. I love choice and when it actually matters. But I would really like to see things feel streamlined too. So deep, not complex. All right, so recently released a Furie Preview, not a furry preview. That already exists. They're called Wild Walkers. It's a lineage that you can get in the game. But another one that would be coming in some point would be the Furie. And Furie are super cool. They're a very fragile, kind of flighty, fickle lineage, and a lot of the traits that they have reflect that, and as does the lore. And they have good reasons for it. They're descended from harpies from a long time ago. And unless you are particularly knowledgeable or in a really civilized environment, people aren't probably able to make the distinction between a harpy and a fury, and because of that, they often get chased off. They feel like they're outsiders in a lot of different ways. So they have a reason to, they're substantially paranoid a lot of the time. A lot of the threads in the game are about either coming to a new world and finding a way to survive in it, or being a part of the current world and dealing with some of the circumstances that are changing your way of life. So for the dwarves, just as an example, all of them are, it's a very cliche, very Tolkien, Gygaxian sort of story, but basically a king died and they're all warring with one another, just all the individual empires under the stone. And if you didn't pick sides, basically you'd get kind of ousted from the dwarven society. So many dwarves just live above ground now, and they can't get back in because the doors are sealed off. And each individual empire is kind of trying to keep strangers away while this conflict goes on. But so that's a struggle. The elves have gone and separated themselves from the current world. They've retreated into what's called the Ellingwood, which is a magical forest that just guides you out whenever people enter. They're just kind of driven out. And somewhere in that city, or in that forest, there is a city, and that's where the elves are. But you refer to them as ancient elves because they were the most strict traditioned, very kind of Lothlorien, whereas the elves that chose not to go, the ones that you still find in the world today, are more like wood elves, just by comparison. So they're just a little bit more grounded, real, instead of hoity-toity. A lot of that sort of stuff is going on kind of in the lore if you go toward the very end of the document, but I enjoy writing it too. That being said, those were the main 2 points of the development of Distal over the past week. I'm hoping that I can get a little bit more work done now that the website is kind of knocked out, because this took a long time to do just because it's so finicky. One of the goals was to allow products to be listed in a YouTube shelf underneath the channel so that people can be like, oh, okay, I'll pick that, and then just download the rules directly from the YouTube page instead of having to go somewhere else to do it. Turns out you can't do that unless you're charging for the product, which obviously I'm not doing. Everything's free. At some point that'll change, and we've been having some discussions about it in the Discord, but I need a game that feels substantial, that feels complete. I don't want to pay for promises. In fact, I think I did a Thoughts on Better Gaming video about that forever ago. I would rather you be excited and interested in what is currently being offered, and hopefully through the alpha and that sort of thing, download it, play it, see if the system is right for your table. Let me know how it goes. If this video has been interesting, helpful, or entertaining, please feel free to like, subscribe, tell your friends about the channel. And if you would like to follow Distal's development, you can do that at playthisrpg.com, which is this website, well, the website that I just showed, and join the development Discord. Hang out, interact with other people who are along for the ride as well. Thanks very much, folks. Wrel signing off.